James Whale radio show.
Now, good evening. Tonight's program, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much. We did that last week. Tonight's program is a program that if my mother is watching, I'd like you to take an early night, go to bed tonight.
Attention please, this is not a drill, this is not a drill. The James Whale radio show is now officially on the air. Thank you. Cue James, action.
Okay, fine. Sorry about that. Now, we're on the air, and as I was going to say before, if my mother is watching or anybody of a nervous disposition, tonight's program is not for you, because what we're talking about tonight is the humble orgasm. Now, the reason is that every time you pick up a magazine, whether it happens to be the local paper like your Daily Sport today, right on the front page, one wife told how she had an orgasm as a husband, something, something, something under the eyes of officers at Full Sutton Prison. Everywhere you look, orgasms. And it seems to me that orgasms are more for the woman than for the man. As far as I can tell, reading about it, orgasms are more pleasurable for the woman. Now, we're going to explore this tonight. If you would like to contribute, the number is coming up on the screen. There it is. You can ring us now, 0532. Ask any question you like about orgasms. And my first two guests tonight, Jane Ehrlich is an agony aunt, and she's going to be the agony orgasm aunt for the show tonight. Is that right? Much experience for writing in magazines and periodicals about sexual problems, particularly orgasms. It's nice to have you with us. And, of course, well-known actor, a man who starred in My Beautiful Laundrette, Tandoori Nights, to name but a few, Saeed Jaffrey, who has a CD out at the moment all about the Kama Sutra.
Yes.
Okay? And, of course, the Kama Sutra, whoops, that's another bit about orgasms. In fact, this is a whole table, all magazines all about orgasms. The Kama Sutra, of course, probably the oldest sex manual in the world, would you say, or not?
More a manual of manners, really.
Yes.
About 2,000 years old. And, but a much maligned book, because all people remember are sort of, you know, various positions. Most people haven't read the book.
We're going to look at the book in a bit, and you're going to talk about the manners, I'm sure. And we're going to talk about your CD. No. Jane, if I start with you, why is everybody at this particular moment in time so preoccupied with orgasms?
I haven't the slightest idea. There's no reason why they should.
We never used to be.
This all started in the 60s when sex came out of the closet in a lot of different ways. The 80s pulls it all back into the closet again. Now it's come out. And it's as if the whole sexual movement never even happened.
We never, in the 60s and the 70s, men didn't really worry about whether women had orgasms. They didn't even know about them, most of men.
A lot of women didn't either. And I think in a way we were sort of sold a bill of goods, particularly in America, but also here. It's sort of what I call the Cosmo factor. Because when suddenly everybody was talking about sex, we were given all kinds of articles about how to be the greatest lover, how to teach your man to absolutely adore the ground you walk on because you knew the butterfly flick and the purple frazzle or whatever it was to make him see stars.
The butterfly what?
I just made it up.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine. Yeah. I've got an interesting... In Forum, of course, I always turn to Forum when there's a sexual problem. And but this is interesting. Victorian medical science had two quite contradictory attitudes to female orgasms. This is interesting. The first said it just didn't exist, except amongst wanton women, and the second admitted the possibility but said it could only be triggered by the actual splashing of semen on the vagina wall. I mean...
This sounds like it was written in 1842.
Oh, it was, yes. Victorians were very keen on that sort of thing. Yeah.
We've come a long way since then. Women are now getting their own orgasms for several reasons. They're doing the right thing, which is, number one, they're learning what makes them aroused. They're masturbating a lot more, at least they're talking about it a lot more, which is the direct way of learning your own response. And they're now telling their parents, God, I hope not, they're now telling their partners what is good for them, what pleases them.
But it's making most men feel totally inadequate, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, they're glad for the response. For a man to see his partner excited and aroused is very arousing for him. It's a sharing thing. It's wonderful. He's not doing his thing and getting off and saying that's it.
That comes on to Saeed talking about the Kama Sutra and talking about manners, doesn't it, really? Because, I mean, back in the time when the Kama Sutra was written, it was written...
We talked earlier about the Victorian times. Now, remember that this version of the Kama Sutra was translated by one of the great Victorian Englishman of the time, Sir Richard Burton, who spoke Sanskrit, who spoke Arabic.
Not the actor, I hasten to add.
No, not the actor, long before the actor.
Obviously.
And who was not just an explorer, but who was interested in fact, introducing to Victorian society, which is so frigid at that time, but something from the ancient Indian literature, which is the Kama Sutra.
It deals really with the fact that sex should be fairly close to godliness, doesn't it? It actually says that it's a beautiful part of the...
See, sex, godliness. Now, that's why I've made the record, the CD, because people don't even understand what Kama is. Kama Dev is the god of love, is the Cupid in Hindu mythology.
Right.
And in Hindu mythology, there is nothing can be created without the union of Shiva and Parvati, the god and the goddess. In fact, sometimes they are shown as half man, half woman. And everywhere in the temples of India, you see the lingam, which is the male thing, and the yoni, which is the female, vagina. The vagina and the lingam are always interlocked.
Okay, I was hoping to show you a picture in here. There's one here which had pulleys and all sorts.
These pictures, by the way, have nothing to do with the Kama Sutra.
These have nothing to do with it. We'll forget it.
In fact, I'll tell you why. Because
what the heck do we need that for?
They're erotic miniature paintings that have been just picked up to illustrate the Kama Sutra and malign it.
So it was never illustrated?
No, it was not at all.
Okay, we'll talk more about that a little later on. Now, we'll take calls later on. You know the number, 0532 46 1000, but we also have the other number, 0532 46 0898 46 1000. And if you want to leave a message, you can't get through to the programme. These are some of the messages from last week.
I wonder how the gentleman who said it was official nonsense for the tango advert to be stopped would feel if his son came in with 4 finger mark bruises on his cheek after being tangoed in the playground. I wonder when the one about them shouting in the girl's ear is going to be stopped, or do we have to wait on someone being deafened?
I've seen James Whale a few times and not particularly enjoyed the show, but I just wondered why there was no critical comments on the content of the show.
James Whale, I think you're a plonker.
I think that James Whale should be very thankful that he's got the job he has got.
I'm just watching your show on telly and I think it's a right bloody cock-up from start to finish.
I think it's totally disgusting.
Do we have to have so much of these rubbishy videos week in, week out? There's the one tonight, Public Image, should have been changed the name to Public Warning, as one should have been given before they appeared.
We're not all decrepit. I was born in 1919 and I love the show.
This is your wife speaking, remember that woman? I just thought I'd phone to ask if you wanted sprouts or cauliflower for dinner. Bye, love. See you later.
Callbox. 0898 46 1000. Callbox.
Okay, who says we don't put criticism on the programme? In fact, it seems to me we put far too much criticism on the programme. Linzi Drew was in jail until this morning, and we're proud to be the first television programme to have her live on the air. Welcome out.
Evening, James.
Are you all right?
Is it morning?
It's morning.
I'm fine, thank
Did they
very
treat
much.
you okay?
Yeah, very nice. Drake Hall, hello.
Was the food all right?
A lot of my friends worked in the kitchen, so yeah, it wasn't bad.
Okay. Well, no, orgasms.
Orgasms, perhaps we'll come on to those later.
Now, Linzi, you, of course, well known for being, well, I suppose now, a fallen porn queen.
Yes, it was in one of the tabloids, I believe.
And I suppose, talking about orgasm, there's a tenuous link here between orgasm and pornography.
And fallen porn queens.
I mean, is this really the sort of thing that you wish to be involved in, do you think? You do?
I very much enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, yes. Now, I hear...
Orgasms and...
Orgasms, right. I hear that you're giving the sort of stuff you made before up, and you're going into kind of art movies.
Very artistic members only, yes. This is my new product that's out next weekend.
I see. An aid to orgasm, I suppose, as well.
I think that the people who see this will have quite a few orgasms during the programme.
Okay, well, we're going to show a little snippet from some of these in a moment. I'm just looking to check on there. And if you want warning to turn off, I'll give it to you in good time. Linzi, do you, I mean, they say that ladies approaching 40 experience better orgasms than younger girls. Do you find that to be true?
No, I think 30 might be the age, actually. I think women lose their inhibitions a little bit more and are more prepared to tell men exactly what they like rather than... so I think, I don't like that, but he'll stop in a minute and do something else.
But you wouldn't wait for him to stop now, you say, off.
I don't like that, do this, please. Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember the first time you actually had an orgasm?
Yes. It wasn't when I first had sex.
No.
Nothing like, no.
Did it come as a big surprise?
Well, the first time I had an orgasm was on my own, not with a man. Oh,
yeah.
yes. I think that's sort of
for most
the case, yes. The first time I had an orgasm with a man was a couple of years into having sex, yeah.
Oh, right. Well, talking about that, let's have a little look at the first clip, which is from a new, very arty movie. Kevin Costner is not in this, but it is called Throbbing Hood and...
His How He Made Marion.
How He Made Marion. Here it is, right here. Oh, that's tasteful, nice. Is this, who's singing is this? Is this the...
This is Brian, I believe.
Brian is singing on this? Does Brian know that? Oh,
we haven't heard him yet.
It looks just like the original, doesn't it, really?
Same clothes.
Yeah. Is that you?
Maid Marion's a little bit more buxom, I believe.
Yes.
No, this is a young lady called Nicole.
And she's playing Marion?
Yeah, she's married.
Oh, that's nice. As a, you know, a little love in the Greenwood.
I think he's come back from hunting and he's feeling hot and horny. I think that's...
He's feeling hot. Well, yeah, they drank from the horn, didn't they?
Of course, yeah. So he's going to show us his quiver in a minute, I think, if you let us become that raunchy.
So what are they doing? They're going to sit down and have a picnic? Oh, my God. What's going on?
I think his panties are going to come down, actually.
No. Oh, well, that's nice. That's nice. That's
here we go.
That's arty. Now, is he, because they got hot and sweaty, is he perhaps going to have a wash now?
Yes, I think she's helping him wash his nether regions.
Yes, well, could she stand up? Because I don't...
What do you think your head's in a sort of fellatio type
For goodness sake, cut. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But you understand we will be taken off the air quicker if I'm sorry about that, Linzi. I thought that was art.
It's very arty, yes.
It is very arty. Let's see if
watch it a little bit more and you'll get into the feel of the art. The art will sort of throb throughout your entire body.
Let me look at Members Only now. Is that Members Only is the collective title, and there's also one in here we're going to look at called Indoors. This is obviously a comedy?
No, it's young ladies who write to me who are desperate to be models. They want you to go around their house so they can strip off with the cameras and...
Oh, this is a sort of Jeremy Beadle type thing. Let's have a look at this.
So she doesn't fall over, but her panties fall down.
Oh, Lloyd Grossman.
Linzi,
through the keyhole.
I'd love to get into modelling. I love dressing up in stockings and suspenders and showing off. The only problem is that my old man won't have it. He'd be as jealous as hell if I showed off my big round tits and wet hairy fanny. But I don't care, because I want to. Perhaps you could help, Linzi. We sure can, Sharon. We sure can.
OK, I'm coming up to your face now, Sharon. That's lovely. Right, look at me. Yes, that's good. Show me that pussy. Good.
Now, look, I sincerely hope my mother is not what... Oh, sorry, Linzi. Yes, what did you want to say?
I just want to say the voiceover on that. MX 1100 in HM Prison Send. Hello.
Yeah. Do you want any more dedication?
Prison request show.
Fine.
And all of HM Prison.
I thought you were on parole.
No, I'm not on parole.
You're not on parole?
No, I'm not on parole. I'm a free woman.
Are you? I hadn't heard otherwise, but never mind. OK. That you can't. Well, you'll get sent straight back for putting stuff like that out.
No, I won't.
You won't?
No, I won't. I'm willing to risk it.
You are?
For the punters, to get what they want.
For the punters?
Yes.
Do you think this is spreading great debauchery and the possibility of a rise, if you like, in sexual crime?
No.
Isn't this...
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's a load of old nonsense. I think a little titillation is very good for the soul, actually.
Do women ever look at these videos, do you think?
Yes, women look at them a lot. Yeah. I used to get lots of letters from women, well, models who want to be in them, and ladies who... That's why we've put some sexy men in these
Oh,
videos.
the sexy men as well?
Oh, yes.
OK,
yes.
well, I'm glad to know that it's artistic, and for the moment, thank you very much indeed, Linzi.
Thank you, James.
Could you just quiver there for a moment?
Yes, I'll just quiver.
OK, fine. Now, over the past couple of weeks, we've had some rubbish music on the programme, but I said to the guys, it's got to stop. I want Fast Freddy's Fingertips on the programme, and they've all been raving about this band before. Everybody's been dancing. It's brilliant. This is the new single, and because when you're a new band, you can't really get your records into the shop. So I'd like to prove that people do want good music. I want you to go to your record shop tomorrow morning and order this. It's called Costa Brava Love. And this, for the first time on network TV in this country, is Fast Freddy's Fingertips! Sorry. And that was just a short piece from When Harry Met Sally. Behind me here, funnily enough, in the audience tonight, they couldn't get themselves cleaned up in time. They've been out on the tiles, as you can see, are members of the
Screaming Blue Murder Theatre Company.
Screaming Blue Murder Theatre Company, who are all taking part at the moment in a play.
At the Civic Theatre.
At the Civic... Doesn't he look lovely? Look at that. Yes, you could have an orgasm with his head. And it's what? What is it called?
It's the persecution and assassination. It's the persecution and assassination of Jean-Paul Marat as performed by the inmates of the asylum at Sharon Town under the direction of the Matty Bissab.
Okay. The reason being, of course, we're always looking for new audiences, and if you fancy you can do as well as them, and you'd like to be in the audience, then all you have to do is write to this address. Thank you. Same address if Wales Mail, Yorkshire Television, Leeds LS31JS. Same address if you would like to write. And look at the mail. Remember, if we read your letters out, you will get a packet of late-night entertainment. Okay? Fantastic. Right. Let's crack on. Let me read... Excuse me, could I read this letter? Come a little closer here, so you're not distracted by everybody behind me. Come closer. Come sit on my knee if you can. Televisual. Sit on my knee, okay. This comes from Dr. Death in Cornwall. Hiya, Dr. Death. And Dr. Death is a pro wrestler, and he's known as the legendary Masked Man. Now, 3 weeks ago, Dr. Death says, Gary Bushell made a comment in print about English pro wrestlers being, and I quote Gary Bushell, pot-bellied old stagers who couldn't go 2 rounds with a revolving door. That was quite good, actually. So Gary says, Dr. Death, I wrote to Mr. Bushell challenging him to go 2 minutes with me anywhere, anytime. And I guaranteed £1,000 to any charity if after he'd been in the ring with me for 2 minutes, he could walk back to the dressing room under his own steam. I would love to see that, Gary. And I know you're not a man to go back on a dare, OK? And I know you'll be watching. I've had no reply, says Gary, whatsoever, and I wondered if, James, you could stir something up. So, Gary, I should ask the producers, but what the heck, it's my show. I am inviting you here, Gary, in the next couple of weeks, to perform with Dr. Death on the programme. Not only will we pay first-class travel up here to the studios, we'll put you up in a fantastic hotel. How can you refuse? Make sure you get in touch, Gary, and you and Dr. Death can be doing it in the studio very soon. Thank you very much indeed. Now, we'll press on, I think, because, of course, talking about orgasms is a very serious subject tonight, and we have a man who has probably composed the definitive work as far as orgasms are concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, Raw Emotion!
Right, well, I don't know why they've asked me to write a song about orgasms. I suppose they thought I could be objective. Because basically, I haven't had an orgasm since Huddersfield Town got promotion to the First Division in 1970. Although I did get an erection when we got to the 4th round of the Rumbelows Cup this year. Yeah. Actually, when I was very little, when I was really, really little, I was involved in an orgasm. Because when I was really little, I used to be a sperm. I did. And life was very, very difficult in those days. 70 million of us brought up in one semi-detached scrotum. And then one day I was just ejaculated from my home. No sort of warning, you know. But I'm all right now. Although, I've changed. I mean, I've obviously changed, otherwise my mother would have given birth to a 7.5-pound sperm, you know what I mean? Although some people didn't change, did they? I mean, Duncan Goodhue, he never changed. Anyway, the Orgasm Blues. Oh Lord, I got the orgasm blues. I feel such a failure. Oh Lord, if I could choose different genitalia, I wouldn't be a bloke at all, 'cause I just get depressed. when I read that Cosmo says women's orgasms are best. Well, according to Cosmo, a rapid succession of pleasurable, intensely pleasurable, rapid muscular contractions in and around the vagina, followed by a spreading tingling sensation in the groin that could last a split second or go on for absolutely ages, is what constitutes an orgasm. While for a bloke, it's just a biological spasm. Bit better than a sneeze, even educated fleas-asm. Ooh, there goes another one. Well, itch and twitch and toss and turn and roll and pitch and toss and turn and lunge and plunge and she has an orgasm. And we shiver and quiver and wiggle and throb and lunge and plunge and wiggle and throb, convulse and pulse, and he has a minor spasm. Bit better than a sneeze, even educated fleas-asm. Ooh, there goes another one. Ooh, 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 multiple job that time. I quite like the idea of this mystical Eastern sex, where the man doesn't have to ejaculate to have an orgasm, no. Tissue's not an issue. Yin-yang, thank you, ma'am. Actually, when they asked me to write this song about orgasms, I thought, well, I could fake one.
Excellent. Raw Emotion and the Orgasm Blues. Now, before you meet my next guest, he's given me a little message that he wants me to read out first of all. The basic message, John Williams is my next guest. John says, I seek to convey is sexual frustration is a prime cause in the blocking of human potential in most spheres of life. The able-bodied satisfy most of their sexual needs in the normal course of events. However, for the vast majority of the disabled, they have no such choice, being forced to forsake one of their basic human rights, that of sexual satisfaction. Now, John has cerebral palsy. Hi, John. And John is going to talk to me through Viv, which is over here, and Viv will help translate. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, right now. First of all, John, you've got a degree in international relations. What is international relations?
M-A-G-N-I magnified P-E-R-S personal relations.
Magnified personal relationships. You obviously have found it very difficult to have a sexual relationship. Do you remember the first time that you had sex?
And how?
Oh, okay, you're going to be difficult, are you? Well, look, how old were you?
31.
31. And you're how old now?
51.
51. You lying or are you telling me the truth here? So you've been hard at it for some time. Now the thing is, John, that presumably you have all the same sort of sexual desires as all the rest of us have. I think.
Alas, yes, he does.
Do you? I mean, when you want to try and make a relationship with somebody, when you want to try and get a sexual relationship with somebody, how difficult is it for you to actually communicate that to them?
As difficult as as any one.
Have you ever used the services of a prostitute?
S-A-D, sadly, yes.
Have you, when seeking out sexual satisfaction, which everybody must have, obviously, When you've tried to seek out sexual satisfaction, particularly from a prostitute, have you been refused?
Yes.
You have. Do you think that perhaps people put too much emphasis on sex? Would it be easier for you if the rest of society put less of an emphasis on sex?
No. But no. Because the drive, would, still be there.
Do you remember, as you came up to the time when you had your first sexual experience, did you begin to believe that you would never experience sex? Did you see the rest of the world having sex passing you by, that you would never actually manage to achieve that?
I just hoped would because my my needs were so great.
Do you think the fact that a lot of people who are not disabled feel it almost impossible to talk about the fact that disabled people have sexual desires and wish to have sex? I mean, that's the reason that you've come on the programme. You're involved, I know, with an organisation called the Outsiders Club, which do quite a lot to help this. Do you think it's good for us to think, perhaps for a while?
The Outsiders Club is STR strictly ALON London LONE a Lonely Hearts Club.
So it's only a Lonely Hearts Club. Do you think that if prostitution, there's been a lot of talk about prostitution and particularly the legalising of brothels, if that was to happen, do you think it would be a good thing, particularly beneficial for people in your situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
NOT, not just for the disabled, but for everyone.
John, thank you very much indeed for coming and talking to us tonight. I know it's meant a lot for people, for you to come and talk to us. Thank you very much indeed. We'll take a break. Right, welcome back. Here Okay. Now, let's get straight onto it because, you know, we're almost at the end of the show. I wanted to thank everybody for coming, but I decided not to. Now, competition. Last week's you could laugh at that. Last week's competition had hundreds and hundreds of you phoning in, which was quite surprising, really, because I didn't tell you what the prize was. Do you like this, by the way? It's rather nice. Can you see a little shot of my fountain over here? I don't know. Did we see that before? We've got on the phone Caroline. Are you there, Caroline? Hello? No, Caroline there. Caroline's not on the phone? She was supposed to be on the phone, but we'll get her in a few seconds, will we? Or not? No, we won't. We forgot to do that. Caroline, funnily enough, is the winner of last week's competition. Thousands of you wrote in. The prize for which is all sorts of cleaning stuff, you know. One of these balls, by the way, heavily promoted in last week's, and lots of soap powders and all that sort of stuff. Be very useful indeed. And a red basque which came in for some reason. I'm not sure why, and we're giving that all away. So, Caroline, thank you very much indeed. You are the winner. This week's competition to give away a couple of tickets. We've got 2 tickets to a concert on the 24th of May called The Fleur. Now, it's in Glasgow, so I hope you can get to Glasgow. You get 2 tickets, and we'll also give you passes to go into the guests' enclosure, etc., etc. Playing, amongst others, will be Delamitri, who are on the show in a couple of weeks' time, and Le Negreveux, who were on the show a couple of weeks ago. They'll be playing there. All you have to do is ring the competition line coming up on the screen now, 0898 40, no, 500 111, 0898 98 500 111. And tell us what you think the word fleur means. We haven't a clue what the word fleur means, but the most entertaining answer will win the tickets. Okay, it's for the 24th of May. It's, I believe, a Sunday, and it's in Glasgow. So thank you very much indeed for that. Good luck, and start phoning in with the answers now. Now, what's... Oh, my golly, that's a big silver one you've got there, isn't it?
Got here a screaming orgasm for you.
Perhaps you directed at Linzi rather than at me. I'd be very, very grateful indeed. That's a screaming orgasm. Who are you? Thank you, Tim. Look at that. How am I going to explain that that just happened to be a drink? Eh? How on earth am I going to explain that that
Just say that somebody dribbled.
You know, yes, and it's the right colour. Did you like that? Okay, right. This, you're from, where are you from? The Holiday Inn?
Inn.
That means free accommodation in the Holiday Inn wherever I go. Lindsay, would you like to stick that down your throat?
Do I get to suck?
I beg your pardon?
Do I get to suck?
That's tacky, very tacky. We've gone very, very tacky all of a sudden, haven't we? What do you think?
Has it got Baileys in it?
Yeah, Baileys who? Oh, sorry. Could you pass it on to Jane so that Jane could have a little taste, and then perhaps Saeed, can you taste this or not?
Yeah, why not?
There's alcohol in it. I mean, you're allowed to taste alcohol?
Yes.
You do. Oh. Okay.
I'm allowed to taste anything.
Lovely.
Ooh,
that's very, very nice indeed. Right, we're going to crack on and take a few phone calls. Trust that they'll be there this time. Madge? No, David first. David from Belfast. Hello, David.
Hi there.
Yes, David.
Hi, maybe a question I could direct at Saeed first.
Saeed, are you listening to this? Good.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
I wondered whether, maybe in the passing of time, whether men have somehow lost something to do with sexual experience, and we've become so fixated with penetration and the physical experience of sex that we've lost the pleasure of sex.
That's exactly why we have brought out this record.
Really?
To go back to the lyricism, the romance of love-making between men and women.
I was actually thinking of the physical experience, and the idea that women clearly have a really pleasurable and sensational, often, orgasm, yet men, often men, we come, and often...
We go, don't we, David? We go. Thank you very much indeed for your call. I'm very well. He was right, though, wasn't he? Because we haven't got time to go on.
No.
Fine, that's fine, good. OK. Madge from Bingley, who's, and it says here 73. Is that relevant, 73, Madge?
Hello.
Hi.
Well, I think I'm one of your older viewers. We just hate to think that when we get to this age that they think everything's passed us by. And by the way, James, if your mum's watching, I don't think she'll be disgusted.
Oh, you don't know my mother, but we'll leave that. We'll leave that.
But
that out.
I mean, at 73, we still I would still like the pleasures, although I'm a widow. But the only joy I have now is bumping into somebody with a basket in the supermarket.
You get an orgasm from bumping into somebody with a basket in a supermarket. That's good. Is that right, Jane?
That's one way.
That's one way. And listen, I mean, at least you can still laugh. Do you get the urges, Madge, or not? No, still.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
But what do you do about them?
Do you do anything about it now, Madge?
No, I've no partner.
You don't need a partner.
You don't need a partner. There's self-pleasure.
No.
Yes, why not?
No.
You're a healthy woman. You're giving yourself great joy.
That's right.
Well, I don't know.
Give it some thought, will you?
Have a think and phone me back in a couple of weeks, but don't use the basket, all right? Thank you, Madge. Bye-bye. Now, just before we go, these, by the way, before we carry on, we're going to throw these into the prize for the competition. These, funnily enough, are vinyl records. You don't see many of these around nowadays. Lindsay, behave. What are you doing?
Just saying I'm going to drink this. It's lovely.
Oh, good. Well, you carry on. Keep it quiet. Vinyl records, anyway, so we're going to throw those in as well. And we may throw these in, and Saeed, you might be interested. These are new. These are just on the market. These are called Kama Sutras.
Well, these are the sorts of things that have given a bad name. It's beautiful work of art called Kama Sutra.
Sorry,
Throw it away.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. How much better can are our lives going to be better, Jane, if we do regularly have orgasms? Are they going to actually be better? Why?
Physically, you're actually healthier.
Why?
Why? Your body is made for having sex.
Yep.
You're simply doing what nature told you to do. It is great for stress. It is great for a sense of your own consciousness, as a matter of fact. You're aware of yourself as a sexual, healthy human being.
Okay,
so
let's
whether you have a partner or you do it yourself, you're still releasing a great...
Let's talk to Wayne from Leeds. Hello, Wayne.
Hello, James.
Okay, Wayne, yes.
Could I direct this question at Jenny, please?
Can you? Yes, I think you can, Wayne. Yes, why not?
Well,
I'm just looking at the Kama Sutra while you're talking. Yeah?
It's just that I'm a male, 21, and I've never achieved an orgasm.
That's okay. A producer and director of the programme tonight, considerably older than that, and they've never achieved an orgasm. There's an interesting dichotomy, isn't there? Careful, Jane. It's gone straight to your head. That men think that ejaculation means orgasm. It doesn't, does it?
No, they're two separate things.
Yeah.
Women think so, too, and they're wrong as well. Are you
Go
there?
on. Yes, he's there.
They happen within a few seconds of each other. Occasionally, in men, it happens at the same time. You can have one without the other.
Yeah.
One example of having one without the other is before you reach puberty, a lot of young boys had orgasms when they weren't producing any ejaculate. So that's one example right there.
Okay, Wayne, keep at it. You'll get there in the end. Brian from near Glasgow. Hello, Brian.
Hi, James.
Yes, Brian.
Hi. Well, actually, what you've just said there probably made my question...
Yeah.
No, I'll give him a question.
Fine, thank you, Brian. Andy from Carlisle, hello.
Hello, James.
Yes, Andy, your question?
I just want to know why are you such a prick?
Thank you very much indeed. They always say, don't they? They always say, Andy, it takes one to know one, don't they? Brian from Horsforth, hello.
Hello, James.
Yes, Brian.
It's a well-known fact that females fake orgasm in order to please the men they're with. Do you think it's possible for men to do the same or fake the ejaculation? And if so, do they actually do it?
Well, yeah, I think so. Do men fake orgasms? Absolutely, I would imagine.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
They're under as much pressure to perform as women are.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry, never mind, we've done that before. Christine in London. Hello, Christine.
Good morning, James.
Hi, Christine.
Can Jane tell me why, when I do achieve an orgasm, I get such terrible headaches after?
Terrible headaches?
Must have been a flipping good orgasm. What? Must have been a good one.
No, it's a common reaction. You're releasing a great deal of tension, and a lot of the pent-up stuff basically has given you a headache. If it keeps on happening and the headaches get worse, I would see somebody about it. But actually, if you masturbate and have an orgasm after that, it should go away.
Right. Thank you.
Do you have many? How many a week do you get?
I don't get any now. I'm celibate at the moment.
Oh, you're celibate at the moment, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Masturbation is the answer, then.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, you see, I was reading an article somewhere that says that around 90% of men actually do masturbate.
Wonderful.
And the 10% are lying. 100%.
Really?
100%, yeah.
Oh, sure.
101%.
And that there were, again, in Victorian times, I mean, they used to have all sorts of little things to stop children from doing this.
I know. In India, we were told that your hair would grow on your palms.
Yes.
Or something if you masturbated.
Yeah.
And that's,
and I can see clearly now as well.
It's just sort of so out of date, really.
Why do
it was out of date 2,000 years ago when this was written.
That's the CD that you just
That's
produced.
the CD,
yeah.
The Art of Love.
You haven't plugged your video yet, have you?
Well, you didn't bring it over, James.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I can't.
With Sally Dexter in it. Sally Dexter, Royal Shakespeare Company.
Yes.
So you know,
it's very tasteful stuff.
Saeed Jaffrey and Sally Dexter. She was Titania to my Oberon in Midsummer Night's Dream.
You should be getting together with Lindsay after the programme.
Absolutely.
Precisely, yes.
I'm a great fan of her.
Jane, I want to ask you this. Why, it seems very unfair, the height of a man's sexuality is about 17, is that right?
Wrong.
Wrong.
It depends what you're considering the height of sexual joy. Men between the ages of 18 and 25 will have the greatest number of orgasms. It doesn't mean they're going to have the greatest amount of pleasure in their orgasms. That actually comes later. And some men...
grow older.
Right. As you get older, you get better.
Get better.
Isn't that pressure to perform?
Power, experience.
Your orgasms can become deeper because you've had a lot more sexual experience. Because they haven't come as fast, you're actually taking more time.
It's right
and
to
you're
say...
not that worried about it. about the orgasm.
Exactly. Yeah. Or women either. It's the same thing for
women either.
It is right to say that a man's orgasm is similar to a woman's orgasm, that he will yell and he'll shout and he'll express himself like that.
Not even 1/100th of that of a woman. I mean, a woman's orgasm is something marvelous to listen to.
Well, it depends on the woman, and it depends on the man. I mean, a man ejaculates, a woman doesn't.
Yeah.
But basically, they both go through, arousal.
She?
No.
I was once with somebody, and the neighbours came and said, "Are you murdering that?"
Okay. Albert from Ireland. Hello, Albert.
Hey, good morning, James.
Good morning,
From
Albert.
Ireland.
Whereabouts are you from?
Along.
Okay.
I would like to ask your experts about the G-spot.
Well, funnily enough, I was going to ask about that.
This is the G-spot.
This is pretty good, actually. I like this, yeah.
Well, up until a few years, up until recent history, it was unheard of. Is it really a fallacy?
The thing is that these, I mean, I have in front of me just a few magazines, but every woman's magazine now seems to be preoccupied with where it is. Do men have a G-spot or not?
No, they're not. The jury is still out as to whether or not a woman has a G-spot. Some women feel a certain something. Some women swear that doesn't exist. Some researchers have said it's just a sensitive area in the vagina.
Yeah.
There isn't such a thing. And other researchers tell them that they're crazy. The jury is actually still out if it even exists. And that's why it's been put on the back burner.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for that, Albert. I wanted to ask one question. Is there one way in which all women can experience an orgasm? I mean, there may be a lot of women... women find it more difficult than men, right?
Yeah.
Is there one thing that a woman can do, any woman can do, to achieve an orgasm?
Two things.
Two things.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, one, she can learn about what turns her on. And masturbation.
What turns her on?
Turn her on first, so she knows then what to tell a man.
She explores her own body.
Masturbation is the best way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Then she talks to her partner and says, this is what's good for me. And if she doesn't want to verbalize it, then she can masturbate in front of him, which is a great joy for him. And he can see what pleases her.
What turns her on.
Yeah.
People will be, I can actually see people say, oh, no, you can't do this. It's something that people should do in private, not talk about it. But that's the problem, isn't it? We're too private about it.
Masturbation's a very private thing. But when you do it in front of somebody else, you're actually giving them a great gift.
With a lover.
Yeah, you're being very vulnerable to them.
Some people are just so embarrassed to admit they do it.
They do it.
We all do it.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank my guests. And we've come to the end of the programme, sadly, very nearly. Thank you. Now, next week's programme, okay? Next week's show we have on the programme, you can talk amongst yourselves, of course. Next week's programme, we have Judge Pickles, where we have Tom Robinson providing the music, and Judge Pickles and I will be taking your calls on anything to do with the law, or any little questions you want to ask, what you think about judges, whether you like their wigs, etc., etc. That's next week on the programme. To play us out tonight, thank you guys and ladies, thank you very much indeed. This is Freddie from Fast Freddy's Fast Freddy's Fingertips, and fantastic. Go out and buy the record. You heard it before. This is
Back on the Tools again.
And it's a very apt song, Back on the Tool again, when you think about it. Take it away. Ladies and gentlemen, Fast Freddy's Fingertips!
Of telling me that there is something I should feel so come true. I really tried to be and do exactly what you want to be like you. Oh, but then, after all these years, yeah, wow, the words you wanted to hear somehow, and this time it's for real. Tools again. Hey Dad, I'm breaking the rules again. There are some things in your life for which you make a sacrifice. I'm back on the tools again. Come on now, some stuff happening from there's lots of things that must be done. All those times are changing fast. My future cannot be your past. You've got to see it. Oh, then turning